this fly down,
Right.
but nobody can say anything
Right.
about how they really feel about anything.
And especially the intention behind what he was saying. People just look at the
Exactly.
words.
They take a quote and
Yeah.
they...
And it was the
Yeah.
intention. And what was really great was we were at the after party and he showed up. And amidst all the controversy, he showed up and he.
Well, he's a gentleman and
was
he's
there.
also a professional.
And he was nothing. He's always been the sweetest man, great man, and he was nothing but super generous with everyone that was at the after party. And yeah, it was unfortunate for sure.
Did it hurt the picture?
A little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would say a huge bit.
Yeah.
I would say a huge bit. I think they killed it before it even had a chance. And it
Yeah.
was literally days before. And they're like, nobody's going to see it because of all of this, which killed me. I mean,
Yeah.
So as an actor, how do you feel about that? But then as, having worked with Liam on a personal level.
Listen, I don't know the man. All I know is that my interaction with him and what I know about him through other people that have worked with him. And he's nothing but one of the loveliest people that you would meet. And I understood what he was trying to say. I understood the intention behind it. And other people didn't. And it's unfortunate. Everybody has their own filter. And if you have the one guy that has a filter
Yeah.
that has the power of the pen, then it can take it down.
We're so hungry to jump all over everybody. Of course, he was on Good Morning America to defend himself, and he didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
I mean, he even dug himself. But what happens when somebody that you're cast with acts out of turn or does something that's so outlandish that you really can't stick behind? Like we had Roseanne Barr on her own show. As an actor, how do you deal like that when something happens, whether you agree with them or not, and if it affects the project?
Well, my job, I think, as an actor is to be there to serve the character and the script first. There's a lot of people on a lot of sets that I haven't agreed with about what they've said or what they stand for or their political leanings. Not my job. Unless I think they're hurting the consciousness, and then I'll speak up.
It's interesting because, I think you nailed it. The idea of, okay, well, this person can play a pedophile serial killer in this and be so believable that it's convinced you. But that's the job that they're doing. And when they say something a little bit out of turn, which has nothing to do with this project, then that means a big deal to you. So it's just an interesting crux of they're playing this part, but they said this thing in real life that you're taking to heart more than you're watching this performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in our, not speaking to this situation specifically, but everyone is so damn sensitive nowadays. Like, people put out tweets and automatically it's like the world is ending. Like, it's unbelievable
and it's the truth.
how sensitive everybody has gotten. It's like made people, at least in my opinion, afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
That's just it. We talked to Margaret Cho a couple of weeks ago, and she says, F that. And if we all say F that, eat, pray, hashtag F, like that, then things will change, and then, we can get back to what we should be doing, which is working our craft, and let's not take things so seriously. We know what to take seriously, I think.
And even the time of the stand-up comedians right now is really sensitive. You can't
That's what she was
say.
saying.
Yeah.
It's
But it's
really
the time of the world.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Politics, and it just sprinkles. It just seems to me like everybody is looking for how to judge. What people say, what they stand for, what they're not doing, what parts they're doing, who they're backing. It's an egotistical time in our world where we just want to judge and put people down, and it builds us up.
Right.
But in
That's
the
true.
end, everybody loses.
Well, that's exactly right. I said a Helen Keller joke, and I got so much hate email.
Really?
I was
Dear
like,
God.
I'm so sorry. Have her call me. We'll chat it out. It'll be fine.
Helen Keller calling you. I love it.
All right, I want to formally introduce our cast for today. I am so excited. Dee Wallace, internationally known actress.
Legend.
Legendary. You know how iconic is thrown around all the time? we can use it today.
Easy.
Best known for her role as the mother in Steven Spielberg's E.T., of course. A truly award-worthy performance in Cujo. One of my favorites, The Frighteners, which we're definitely going to talk about, as well as The Hills Have Eyes, The Howling, Stepford Wives, and of course Critters. TV credits among many: NCIS, General Hospital, Supernatural, Grimm, The Office, Murder, She Wrote, Hotel, Chips, Starsky and
Wow.
Hutch, and on and on and on.
That goes back away.
Oh, because I love it.
And seriously, my crush in E.T. You were definitely.
She
were my
was a
crush.
MILF before there were
Oh,
MILFs. Can I say that? Like, I'm telling you.
Massive
Yes.
crush.
He hasn't explained to me what a MILF was in junior high school.
Yeah.
All my friends think you're a MILF. What the hell is a MILF?
Well, you weren't it, by the
Yeah,
way.
you were.
Even E.T. was like, I'll stay home.
It's that cat costume, right? Yeah.
It was. I'm not
It
even
was.
kidding you.
I hear that a lot.
It was like the Farrah Fawcett poster, and then later it was
yeah,
the
I
E.T.
totally
and the Cat
agree.
Mom.
Thank you.
She's worked with countless producers and directors on some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Steven Spielberg, Peter Jackson, Wes Craven, Joe Dante, Louis Teague, Stephen King, Blake Edwards, Rob Zombie, which I know you guys have a nice
yeah.
relationship. And of course, she's worked with one of my favorite directors, Gabrielle Stone. She's appeared on every major network and talk show, including Oprah, The Today Show. She earned her teaching credentials from the University of Kansas, the principles she found empowering for children. Her work is based on the principles of accepting responsibility and loving ourselves early in life to create the life we desire. Watch her TED Talk. It will literally change your whole way of thinking. She's a strong advocate for accepting our own magnificence and power in a positive, loving way. A child's personality, and I didn't know this, is set between 4 to 7 years of age, which has a direct impact on the creation of our lives. Her important message to the world: love yourself beyond anyone or anything else. Like, you know how RuPaul says, how are you going to love somebody else if you're going to love... He listened to you, and so he stole it. You would be great as a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, by the way.
Okay. Hear that?
Make the call.
Yeah,
Make the call.
make the call. Dee has authored 5 books on the subject of self-creation, conducts a live call-in internet radio show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, offers monthly webinars on a variety of creation subjects, and conducts private sessions from her home in Woodland Hills via phone and in person. You can sign up on her website, by the way. Her calendar's filling up, so get in. As a much sought-after speaker, Dee has spoken at numerous national and international venues, including the Love and Harmony Forum in Japan, the Dylan Lecture Series, Unity Temple, the Kansas Film Commission, and asked to speak in China, New Zealand, Amsterdam, Australia, England, and all across the United States and Canada. You can also find her at conventions, literally taking time with her fans. Please welcome Dee Wallace.
Woo! I'm exhausted after
Just
hearing
listening to
that.
that.
Girl, you did the work.
Yeah.
What, it was like 400 commercials that you've done?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who can
Yeah.
smile for that time?
And I just surpassed my 200th film.
Wow.
I know. I don't look that old, do I?
That's
You better
fantastic.
say no.
Not at all. Not even close.
Everybody's comment is always, "Oh my God, she looks amazing."
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
look
you have to
amazing.
drink to do this show. You do.
No, listen.
It's a
When
keep-up.
I knew I was coming in here, knowing that she was my crush in ET, and then when I walked in, I'm like, yeah, she's still my crush.
Oh,
I am
love
telling you.
Thank you.
And
So
and the
cute.
jeans don't fall far, by the way.
No.
Sexy mama.
Not at all.
Yes. Even my
Thank
gay
you.
friends are like,
Yeah, you
I
know
love
why?
you guys.
Because
So.
she is a strong broad.
yes, and we love our strong broads.
Yeah, you do.
So let's introduce Gabrielle. Returning to the show, our blonde bombshell who will tell you to F off with a beautiful smile. Gabrielle Stone has been acting professionally for years, following in the footsteps of her talented parents, of course, Dee Wallace and the late Christopher Stone. She starred in The Lighthouse alongside Danny Glover and Kurt Angle. She received rave reviews in the leading role of Lionsgate's Speak No Evil. She then completed the first installment of Anchor Bay's Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard, where she stars with Billy Zane and Misha Barton. Have you seen Misha Barton lately, by the way?
No.
Well, on the hills.
Well,
All right, scoop.
I love Misha Barton. Let me just say that. I saw her in a commercial. I didn't even know it was her.
Oh, yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I couldn't recognize. And she says, "I'm Misha Barton." I'm like, it was Misha Barton.
Little work there, huh?
I don't know what it is, to be honest. She looks like a totally different person. Like she stepped into somebody else's whole being. I'm not just talking face. I'm not just talking body. It's odd. Maybe it's a new horror film we don't know about. Gabrielle has starred in the hit indie drama Swell, worked opposite Luke McFarlane in the horror film Rock, Paper, Dead, directed by Tom Holland and starring Michael Madsen, Tatum O'Neal, and Maureen McCormick. She then completed the romantic comedy The Competition opposite Chris Klein
I know.
and Thora Birch. She had a successful festival run with her directorial debut, It Happened Again Last Night, which we watched a little clip of that last time you were here, for which she also received Best Actress at the Pasadena International Film Festival and the Beverly Hills Film Festival. As a child, she grew up dancing and playing sports. Do you know that there's some dance clips of you on YouTube, by the way?
I do know that.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Look at all sexified in a unitard.
I mean,
Yeah.
From the Cindy's class?
no.
It's like in black and
You
white.
should
Yeah.
want to
It's like
see her
dramatic.
salsa.
Because I'm Latino? Oh, now we're being racist, Wallace. Tomorrow that's going to be everywhere.
Like me.
Gabrielle has always loved acting. She recently began writing and directing. After a shocking revelation in her personal life in 2017, she went on a solo journey to Europe where she discovered how to heal and love herself. She wrote the book Eat, Pray, #FML to share with the women of the world, and many people, by the way, men and women, what she so thankfully learned. Whatever's good for your soul, do that. Please welcome back Gabrielle Stone.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, ladies, we have so much to talk about. I want to talk about when Gabrielle first started to say, hey, I kind of want to get into this acting thing. What was your first response?
Well, that was in the womb.
Yeah?
She was like dancing and and every night of her life, Mom, I have a show. Mom, I have a song. Mom, we have a dance.
That's
You know?
awesome.
I mean, it was just she was born into it.
I
and
was
there
smart about it though. I would like invite the neighbors and charge $1 for a ticket. Like from a
That's
young age, entrepreneur,
Brilliant.
hustling from day one.
Yeah.
Do you know how many big name celebrities did that at the start?
Really?
They would do little shows for their friends in the
Oh, yeah.
basement or on the street. Yeah. So there was not one part of you that was like, oh, I wish
Nope.
you wouldn't get into this.
No, everybody's asked me that all her life, and I said, honey, if you love it and you're happy doing it, go for it.
Because I know you started off very, very early.
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I was 27 before I ever left Kansas and went to New York.
Wow.
No,
That's not.
but you were like, doing
Oh
performance
yeah,
stuff in the
yeah,
public eye.
yeah.
But that was to help
Walt
your
Disney and all that
family
stuff.
out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So a
I
little
come
different
from a very poor
energy there.
family. Yeah.
All right, so you're proud of
What
your
made the jump over to from Kansas? What from Kansas? What was the thing that said, okay, now's the time?
Kansas.
Yeah, but at 27. But at 27.
You know, I graduated from KU, taught a year of high school drama.
That'll do it,
And
Ted.
said if I'm ever going to get out of here, I better go now.
Right.
So I made my mother happy. I got my degree so I'd have something to fall back on, you know. And off I went, and I was so naive that the universe just said, okay, go there, go there, go there. And in 7 years, I'd start in ET. Wow. It's kind of crazy.
And you went to New York. You studied with Uta Hagen.
I did.
The biggest takeaway from studying with Uta, if you had to, one thing.
You better frickin' not come in unprepared.
Right.
Boy. Wow. Uta, in one sentence, you know, you're just leveled. I loved her to death, but
It's interesting because I studied with Larry Moss, and he's a huge Uta Haugen fan, and he was saying the exact same thing. But what I'm curious about is your audition for E.T.
my audition for ET never happened. I auditioned for Used Cars, and Stephen worked so far ahead that he looked at me and went, that's the energy I want for the mom in ET. So when
He saw the commercial?
No, for Used Cars, which is a movie.
Oh, right.
That he did, but he didn't use me for that. Darn. And saved me for E.T. because he wanted everybody in the movie to be childlike and vulnerable.
Did he know? Did he know that, like, did you know that you were going to be?
Oh, no.
Because you could have been on a series.
We
like,
just got the call, and
That's crazy.
it is crazy. A lot of my life is crazy like that, you know.
Now,
Wonderful.
the first time you read the script for E.T., what did you think? Were you like, huh?
I can tell you exactly what I had to go over to the studio behind locked doors And I read the script and I called my agents and I said, I don't think this is going to do much for me. I'm not a real blonde. And, but I think it's going to do a lot for the world and I want to be a part of it. And I wasn't wrong, was I?
No.
Not at all.
It's still changing people's lives, that movie.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to all three of you about the fear of being pigeonholed into a certain genre. Because I know you've also done a lot of horror. You obviously have really set the bar high in acting in horror. You have done a lot of horror sci-fi.
Right.
Is there ever that fear? It's like, God, I really want to do this project, but it's kind of in the same genre that I've done. Is it your agent telling you something, or do you just go with it?
My go-to rule is that, like, if it's a good material that I connect with and it's something I want to do, I'll do it. It doesn't matter the genre. And that, after I did my first couple of horror films, people were like, oh, she's a scream queen because she's Dee Wallace's daughter. But I mean,
Blame it on me.
but I pass on a decent amount of horror scripts that I get because they're just shitty. But
That is the truth, by the way.
I think as long as it's good material that I connect with, it's any genre.
See, I love the
shy
horror
away
genre.
from it. Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
The horror fans are some of the best fans you will find.
Yep, bar none. But I love to do highly emotional stuff. And I love to play big emotional arcs. And there's no genre that gives you an opportunity to do that as well as the horror genre.
That's right. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't look at it as pigeonholed at all.
Yeah, me either.
It's such an interesting thing. Like, you read a script, you're amazed that you have an opportunity to be in a good script, and then it just kind of falls your way. And if it happens to be more sci-fi than not, then for me personally, it doesn't matter. It's the role that really kind of is encouraging. Like, I just did a film called Freaks, very low budget, like extremely low budget, where there was no trailers. It was me, Bruce Dern.
Oh, I love Bruce. He's played my husband like so many times.
Oh my God, Bruce is next level. And me, Bruce Dern, and Emil Hirsch, and we're just in a room in an like a secondary attic before the first attic. And I got to tell this story. I've told this story, but never on air. So Bruce loves telling stories, as you know, and he talks about. And I'm just enthralled. And Bruce is talking about how he was the only guy to kill John Wayne. And you're just like glued to the chair when he's telling you about it. And then he just, some obscure thing he would go, you're Canadian, right? I said, yeah. He goes, I remember shooting in Sudbury in 1933. And I'm like, how do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so then we get up into this attic. And it was my first day. So the crew and everybody are still going, are working. And all of a sudden I hear this. And I'm like, what is that? Everyone's working. Everyone's doing their thing. Again, I hear, ooh. I'm like, to the director, I'm like, what is, am I the only one hearing this noise? He said, no, because we're up in the attic, Bruce can't hear that well, so he turned his hearing aid up, and it's interfering with the mic.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, well, so what do we do? He goes, we can actually edit that frequency right out.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, that's amazing. But when I'm doing my lines, and I
Yeah.
hear, "Woo,"
Yeah. But it's
we
Bruce
work
Dern. What are you
through
going to
it.
tell Bruce?
You don't
Wow.
say
Hey,
anything.
Alma, lower it.
Yeah, you don't say anything. But I just thought it was just an interesting thing where
Wow.
everyone just kept on doing it. It was so loud, but everyone just kept on rolling.
Wow.
And yeah.
We're amazing species.
Yeah, isn't
that
it?
we can grab our focus and bring it back.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Well, professional actors, we've had some MTV actors on us, like, a fly will buzz by and they'll be like, we're doing a show. We're doing a show. Gabrielle, what was your relationship with horror like growing up in this?
I didn't watch a lot of horror growing up. I didn't even see Cujo until I was 16.
Well, that was traumatizing.
Yeah,
buddy.
that
Yeah.
I think I saw it too young.
Yeah.
But I did grow up in horror on set. I remember when we were in New Zealand on the set of The Frighteners, they brought me to set, and she was doing the opening scene where she's like disheveled and bleeding and like flailing about. And they brought me over to her, and she said, okay, honey, sit right here. I want you to lick mommy's blood. It's not real. It's just corn syrup. And that was like my first introduction to like fake blood.
Wow.
Pretty good. Show me a food, I won't say no.
But I mean, from growing up on sets, it was very introduced to me at a very early age that like this is all pretend, and it takes a really, really good horror film to scare me. Ghost stuff doesn't do it. I'm like, okay.
What's the last film that scared you?
The Strangers scared the shit out of me because that fucking happens.
Right.
Like, why are you gonna murder me? Because you were home. Like, nope. That happens. And that's terrifying to me.
Right.
That type of stuff.
And
is just-
spiders.
yeah, I'm not a spider. But that was really when I was little. I kill spiders.
Arachnophobia.
I
freaks me out.
also find it really interesting, even with athletes, when you see a very successful athlete bring their kid to the ballpark, and you see that, and then 15 years later, that kid is actually playing in the major leagues, and it's 1 in every 10,000 people that can actually make the major leagues. And so and I find it just fascinating because bringing your daughter onto set, you're just kind of building that confidence of like this can happen. Like I know just growing up in Winnipeg, of like it wasn't tangible to me until I started being exposed to it. So when you're exposed to it so young, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Becomes a part of your blood, really.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to take a quick break, and when we come back, more and more and more.
Of
Of it all.
And we're back. See how that happens?
Oh my god.
Gary, I got this question asked a few different ways. People love the book, and it's not just women. It's
Thank you.
anybody who has been through breakups or any kind of setbacks in life on how to come back with a sense of humor, with some drive, and being honest about your mistakes. You know, Hollywood is a lot of smoke and mirrors where we can all kind of brush away our past and this is the best version of me, but we really see you naked in a few ways. But the question I got is, you show all sides of being a woman in this book. From having casual sex, to falling ridiculously in love, to empowering yourself to make changes in your life, to taking a trip by yourself with no plan, to being honest with yourself about who you were, where you came from, and how you thought. But as a filmmaker, now as a director in Hollywood, is it dangerous to show all of these aspects of you, especially being a female, especially where we're still dealing with women empowerment behind the lens as well, to have respect as a filmmaker? Do you think, is that on your mind? Is there any danger to that?
That's a really good question. When I first, well, actually, when my mom first read the book, she was like, "Are you sure you don't want to maybe change your name or like leave this one part out?" And it was really important to me to lay all the laundry, clean and dirty, out, because each part of that was really vital and important to my story and where I ended up at the end. And nobody's perfect. I'm sure fucking not. And so it never really was a thought to me. I mean, I was aware of it, that I could get judged for some of the things in the book, you know. But if people are resonating with it and connecting with it, and it's helping heal people and change their lives and perspectives on things, then, I mean, judge me, you know. Like, that's more important to me, and that was my goal when I set out to do it all.
The first time you directed your mom, first day that cameras were rolling, did you approach it a little differently? I mean, obviously you have to.
No. No.
I'd say in unison.
Yeah.
No, my mom and I have worked together as just two actors before, but we're very close. We're best friends, but we both have a really gnarly work ethic, and I'm a director and she's an actor. So it was very much the same dynamic with everybody else that was on set. It was really interesting to watch, because she normally plays these great characters with this like open heart and like these really tangible emotions. And this was a lawyer that spit really fast dialogue that was totally closed off. And she was like in such reaction to some of the moments. She was just...
Wait a minute.
Here we go. Here we got the 411.
There was this one part, and she wanted it so fast, and my little brain and my mouth couldn't get it out. And I did it, and then I did it again, then I did it, and I pride myself on one take, okay? Oh. And all of a sudden, I hear, because she's around the corner watching the monitor, and I hear, "Wallace!" take a breath. You can do this, Wallace. Just take a breath. Well, then I started laughing, which she knows from studying acting with me is the best way to get out of your shit.
Right.
Right? And then we got it on the next
Yeah,
take,
but let's
That's-
preface this before I said take a breath. She was in the middle of this scene, had almost gotten all of it out, fucked up one of the lines, and she's like, piss shit, motherfucker! And the whole, and this is on a 65-person set on a soundstage, and everyone's like, and you can just hear a pin drop.
E.T.'s mom
And
just
and
let it rip.
and so everything is silent, and then you hear me go, okay, Wallace, let's just take back to one, take a breath. So then we end up getting it. The next day, my DP comes up to me and he goes, just so you know, the highlight of my day yesterday was hearing your mother string so many ridiculous cuss words together in the middle of the take.
That
And
is,
I
It was
was
hysterical.
talking to me myself. I go, all right, Wallace, get it together. Come on, Deanna. This
It's
is
really
stupid.
funny.
Get it together.
When we went back to edit and I'm hearing all of it
Oh,
on
God.
my, it was fucking hysterical.
Dying.
My editor and I were just cracking
Where's
up.
the
Dying.
blooper reel? Like,
Yeah,
that's where
I
want
know.
the blooper
I
reel.
I'll kill her.
You have so many hats now that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Producer, director, writer, actress, author. Yeah. How do you know, and this always fascinates me with somebody that's so busy, how do you know how to prioritize yourself, what direction you want to go personally, but what direction you need to go career-wise?
I don't. I know nothing. I'm flying by the seat of my pants every day. No, the book it came out, I think, like 3 months ago now. So my 3 months have been like interviews and PR
Yeah.
and crazy, just
It's
whirlwind of
doing
that.
really, really, really well.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's been really rewarding to. I mean, I get messages from women and men, a lot of men actually,
Yeah.
but women all around the world that in Australia and New Zealand and Chile, like reaching out to me about. It's crazy the stories that I've heard that people have gone through and why they connect with this book, and it's been really overwhelmingly amazing.
why do you think they connect with the book?
It's everyone's gone through some type of heartbreak or at least some type of loss
Or
and
abandonment.
Trauma.
yeah, or
some trauma.
trauma, yeah, and needed to find a way to get back to themselves. And while the book is very healing and has a lot of like techniques on how you can learn how to love yourself and work on your thoughts and heal yourself, it's also a ridiculous adventure that reads like a Netflix show. So it's a lot of fun at the same time.
Right.
But
Did you hear that, Netflix?
yeah, wink, wink.
Yeah.
And so I prioritize in the way whatever's coming in and whatever my heart is feeling passionate about. That's what I do. Whether
We
it's
just both like to create, and as long as we're
Yeah.
creating, we're happy. If we're not creating, we're like bored.
yeah.
What I have to tell you, I literally read it in one sitting because I got the press
Wow.
copy,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, let's read a couple of chapters just to feel it. I was like, and then before I knew it, it was done. But I know a lot of people read it because they have been your character or you. But I know some men read it to kind of understand where women are coming from too, and that's a whole other audience.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I have clients that are in their mid-70s. I got an email from one of my clients last week that said, Dee, I just finished your daughter's book in 2 days. I loved it, and I think I'm going to divorce my husband.
Shut up! You didn't tell me that.
And I wrote her back, and I said, wait a minute. Let's talk. And she said, no, I have been disrespected and kind of pushed aside for 40 years. And I'm not going to take it anymore.
I love that. You know,
Go, girl.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do this?
yeah. But there is no time limit to respecting yourself, no matter how old you are.
That's right, baby.
You guys,
Yeah.
we have a surprise face.
We have.
That's
Oh,
Caroline
hi.
Rhea. Hey, Caroline. Are you in bed, Caroline? Can
Oh.
she hear us?
Can't hear you. Why can't we hear you?
Because she's in bed. Did she know you were going to put her on?
I didn't know.
He's really
Did
good friends
you know
with
I was
Caroline
putting
Rhea.
Did you know I was putting you on? Hold on.
Oh, she's so mad right now.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Santa Gabrielle, D. Wallace, and I'm Alexander. What does your shirt say?
Hi, Dee Wallace.
Hi, baby. How are you?
Nice to see you.
You too.
A plastic surgeon told me this is the most flattering angle.
Oh my God.
I hope you kept the receipt. What does the shirt say, Caroline?
What's your sign?
Oh.
Scorpio.
Dad.
Who's yelling at me? Stop yelling. Okay, sorry.
Her daughter's yelling at her.
Thank you so much for calling in. I understand you get to hang out with Alex later, so I'm very jealous.
Why would you be jealous? Do you find him attractive?
Doesn't everybody? Even Stevie Wonder finds him attractive. Okay.
Wow.
She's like, who is this?
Okay, I'm gonna come over and see you later, okay?
I have a funny story about you.
Yep. No, you're not telling funny stories
Yeah,
about
yeah.
me.
Yes, I am. I'm telling you a funny story about you.
Perfect.
Okay, go.
Okay, so Alex and I were in this movie where he played a Russian, but he made the big Russian accent choice.
Yes.
Tell him, Alex.
Let's hear you do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I did very big Russian accent.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
I buy it.
Yeah.
so then basically I wanted him to play my boyfriend in this other movie, A Very Sordid Wedding.
Yes.
And
Del
we're
Shores.
Yes. And we're just friends, and we had to like full on make out and have sex in this movie. So we were like just rehearsing, and then he's like, "Okay, well we just have to try and make out now during the rehearsal." Anyway.
And we did.
Not do it, but what?
And we did.
No, it's very awkward.
Okay, I gotta come and see
Thank you,
later.
Caroline.
You know,
Bye.
the most
You're the best.
awkward love scene I ever had to do
I
was
wanna
with my
hear this.
husband
Really?
in Cujo. Yeah, and so he said, "Don't worry, honey, I'll take care of you tomorrow." Right. So we get there and sorry, honey, and we're.
I mean, at
we're
this
in-
point, it's
and we're in bed, and we do have the covers on us, but we're supposed to be going, and I'm supposed to be sitting on top of him. I went, Chris, where you just went away? What's going on? He said, I'm so freaking worried about are they going to shoot you all right, and are they going to look? I said, he looked up at me and went, I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Just going to have to act.
That's awesome.
It's like your mother's sitting at the bottom of your bed, going,
they're always awkward.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
never sexy.
No, never.
But you'd think it would be okay with your real
That's
life
true.
mate, but no, it was weirder.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
It's
That's
easier
it.
just to hop in bed and go, "Hi, I'm Dee. Let's go."
Yeah, that's. All
Do you have a
right.
T-shirt that
I'm
says that,
Alex.
Dee? Yeah. Dee has a line of T-shirts that say that. It's like, hi, Dee, let's go. Let's talk about Cujo. It had some pretty harsh after effects of that film.
Yeah.
How did you get through that filming process?
I don't know. I have an incredible technique from my mentor Charles Conrad, and literally I just channeled Donna Trenton. I've paid for it for a long time. I totally blew out my adrenals. Most people don't understand that when an actor goes through roles like Cujo, where you're in fight or flight the whole time, your body doesn't know you're acting. Your brain chemistry and everything is the same as if you really are in jeopardy, physically and mentally and emotionally. So I'm still taking raw adrenals. They treated me for exhaustion for like 3 weeks after I finished, but it's my favorite film and the role I'm most proud of.
And I have to say, if you haven't watched it lately, watch it again. It literally is an acting studio to watch that.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you guys.
Hands down.
Very sweet.
The
of you.
pure terror that you have on that screen leaps across the screen, and it's terrifying. Like you literally,
I want to tell the fans too a little inside stuff because there were 13 dogs that played Cujo. They were all trained to go after toys. We had to tie their tails down because they were wagging their tails all. Those animal lovers out there that I'm not going to watch Cujo because I love. Yeah, well, they were a lot better taken care of than I was. I'm just saying.
that's the truth, right?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Oh, that was
Okay.
a start. It's like,
Just a few tidbits that the
What did
fans
you like? What was there a switch for this one specifically, or was it the script, or was it like what made it go that far for you, like that
Well, sure,
commit
be-
that far.
Well, I'm always committed, but Cujo, you just had to.
Right.
You had to be there. You had to be in every moment, and you had to be there all the way. Because if you were acting, the fans weren't going to go on the
Right.
ride.
That's exactly right.
And that's our job, right?
Absolutely.
Is to go as far as truthfully as we can to serve the people that are watching the film.
I'm really surprised that it didn't get the award notice that it should have.
They don't do that for horror films.
I agree, and Stephen King's gone on record multiple times saying you should have been nominated for an Oscar, and
Thank you,
I
Agent.
concur. Twitter blows up about that all the time.
Yeah, it really does. But it's really true.
Thank you.
Working with so many, we named some of the big directors that you worked with, Spielberg to Rob Zombie, which probably couldn't be more different, or maybe.
No, they're very different. Very different. But not so different as far as being creative geniuses. I mean, Spielberg obviously is our genius,
Yeah.
right, of our craft right now. But Rob, musically, as a director, as a writer, I just adore working with him. And for those of you that are going to see Three from Hell, there was a critic that called Rob and said, I'm reviewing the film, and I see in the credits Dee Wallace, but I didn't see her in the film. Do we have a picture to show
Sure,
that?
it's the picture. She has like tape on her.
Yeah, bandage
that
all
nose.
over.
There we go.
Amazing.
I had to do a double take too.
I don't smile ever in the film. That was Sherry and I having fun getting a shot. But I got to do all my stuff with Sherry this time, and I don't usually get to work with Sherry, and we had a great time, and she's phenomenal.
She's freaking awesome
Yeah.
in this film.
Yeah, she really is.
As an actress, what do you think the most important thing a director must do above all other things while on set?
Trust you and give you your creative freedom with strong direction.
Do you like to
You're
Right
be?
on point. I totally agree. That's right. That's right on point. To know a director is clear on what he's trying to get across lands on the actor that much better and more confidently.
And then, bring in your best stuff. Let me see your ideas. Let me see your creativity. And all the major directors that I've worked with work that way. The smaller directors, this is the way I saw it.
Right.
They want to micromanage it. And it's unfortunate in TV, I think.
I totally agree.
I don't know about your show, but I find a lot in television these days, writers are the producers, and they want to narrow how they saw it when they wrote it instead of letting that be the base and letting the editor and the actors and the musicians, everybody bring in their best stuff, and then it's magic.
That's actually one of the questions I had for you is how has TV, especially doing guest spots, changed the most? I mean, we were talking, you've done Murder, She Wrote, Starsky and Hutch, and then you did Grimm, Supernatural, and how that industry has changed the most.
Well, it's different on every set, but I think that would be my answer, is that it's gotten more restrictive in some ways for the actors. It really used to be the actors' medium, the actors and the directors' medium. And now a lot of the directors on a lot of the sets that I've worked on go back and check with all the producers to see what notes they want to come back and give them, and that drives me freaking crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like direction by committee.
Right.
I want my director's view and his creative choices to guide me, and then I want her, whoever her is in that moment, to take that direction and fly with it. I love the way I work because I'm surprised when I work. Sometimes things happen and come out of me. There's a whole scene in Three from Hell, and Rob kind of said, Dee, just find it. This is what's going on. Just kind of find it. And I had to sit there, and I finally I said, well, because this was like within minutes, right? Just find it. And I finally just gave up and I said, what would you do? And she knew, and off we went, and it's it's an interesting scene, isn't it, Gabrielle?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
This is the best show you've ever done.
In the history of time.
This
Can you
is
imagine
so
this is our
great.
188th episode?
Oh my God.
Wow,
It's so
congratulations.
crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
We had the pleasure of interviewing Tippi Hedren, and she worked, of course,
love
with
Tippi.
Alfred Hitchcock, and then I didn't realize that she had worked with Charlie Chaplin. So she was talking about the style. It was his last film that he directed that she was in, and she had such a great conversation about style. Directing, did you set out to say, this is the kind of director I want to be, or it just happened for you to build your style in the way that you were with crew, with
Yeah.
actors?
No, I never like made a conscious decision of this is the type of director I want to be, nor did I say this is who I want to kind of emulate what I do. It's really based on the material, and I've been really lucky to work with the same DP on both my projects who really gets me.
Give him a shout out.
Jason Crothers shot
Fabulous.
Chicago Fire
Hey,
on
Jason.
NBC for 5 years.
Oh, amazing.
He's fantastic, and it was just really funny. Like, he'll set up a shot, he'll set up whatever shot we've established, and he'll be like, all right, what do you think? And I'm like, it's just not pretty enough. And he's like, okay, got it. And then he'll come back and it'll be perfect. So I
Great teamwork.
yeah, and I know in my head what I want it to look like, and I'm super particular about the aesthetic of everything. And then I just let my actors really play and you know, because I'm an actress, so I come from being on that side of the camera, and I want to give them the freedom to have fun and like bring themselves into it.
And I love that. I love to see people go from in front of the camera to behind the camera. And I think everybody in Hollywood should have to do every single role. Even if you have to do hair and makeup for a day and you don't know how to do it, do it. Just so you can know what it feels like,
Yeah.
you know? That's so important. We have to take another break. And when we come back, we're talking about The Frighteners, and we're talking more about Eat, Pray, #FML.
I love the way you say it.
Because every time I say it in my mind, I'd be like, FML. Like in my life, it's like my daily mantra.
Oh my God, I love it.
And we're back. Okay. I told you we were going to talk about Palm Springs Pride. I'm very excited to announce that On the Rocks is your first ever media grand marshal for this year's Palm Springs Pride. First week in November. Look for me at On the Rocks radio show as your MC on the Pride main stage in the Pride Parade as a grand marshal. I have a sash and a little crown. And my mom is riding in the car with me, too.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
She's like, don't quite so slow.
jump
No,
on
I
Mom.
love my mom. I love my mom. She'll take all the attention away, though. You know she will. Go to palmspringspride.org for more information. I'll be sharing the stage and introducing TLC, Betty, and Christine W. I'm also your host for the Pride Kickoff event, November 1st at 6 p.m. at Trina Turk Designs with Bravo TV's Craig Ramsey and Brandon Liberati. And I'm your first officer for GED's pool party at V Hotel on Saturday, November 2nd.
Going.
During Pride.
I'm going.
GED. Everybody is welcome, by the way. I got passes for everybody.
Hey.
I'll bring you guys on stage. How much fun? That would be fun.
Always
Your
fun.
fans would go crazy. And then they'd ask, they'd ask for Henry Thomas's phone number. Like, he's still so handsome.
Isn't he?
Gangs of New York. GEDmagazine.com to book your ticket. Speaking of GED Magazine, check out my interview with Margaret Cho. The written interview hit newsstands today. Okay, we're back to it. You know, the whole book has such a great positive energy, but it starts off by dealing with the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
which is coming from a place of loss. And I know, Dee, you experienced a lot of loss growing up, especially as a senior in high school. And you start the book by being honest about the people that you've lost and in the way that you've lost actual family members and people that you loved.
Yeah.
And in talking about how you are a healer, grief can destroy people and they can use it as a crutch to never come out.
Oh boy.
Or you can use it to become more creative.
Yeah.
But how does one come from such levels of grief? It's not just like, I had a bad day or I can't pay the bills this month. We're talking about life-changing grief. Mm-hmm. How do you work through that on a daily basis? How do you set a plan for yourself?
Do you want to start?
Well, I teach this every day, and I've lived it a lot in my life. I I think if you start by loving yourself, you don't give up yourself no matter what happens. And my dad was a severe alcoholic, shot himself in the head when I was a senior in high school. I had a choice. Either I kept telling that story and limiting my joy and using that as a reason why I couldn't, then I got stuck there for the rest of my life. And there was just always something in me that said, I ain't going to do that. My younger brother just followed suit 4 months ago. Exactly the same way. Wow. And Gabrielle and I were shooting a film called Await the Dawn. And she came over, and it was, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and we had an 8 a.m. call.
And I said, what are you doing here? You come to pick your mommy up? And I could tell by her face. I said, what's going on? She said, sorry.
I said, I have to tell you something
And
because
I didn't want you to be alone when you heard it.
I had gotten the calls early that morning, and I said, do not call my mom. Left the house, didn't even brush my teeth. I had like my set bag in the car still, and drove to her house. I told her, we sat down, we cried, we talked about it. She called her older brother, left the house at 7:45, made it to set at 8:01, and shot a 10-hour day with a guy waving a gun in our face the whole day. Yeah, it was you know.
But, you know, and I'm not saying everybody, you know, in order to get through grief has to run over it like that, like I choose to do. But I do know that the only way you are ever going to get out of it is to love yourself enough to get back to the creation of your own life.
And and
that's what they'd want you to do, by the way.
I was taught from a really early age to not just with grief, with any situation, to not hold on to the victimness in the, oh, poor me, and oh, I'm so sad, and oh, this and that. And that is really powerful for me as an adult, because I don't want to ever be in that place. And I write about it in the book where, you know, I was 6, almost 7. She was in New Zealand shooting The Frighteners. I was at home with my dad and my nanny, and walked in to go wake him up to watch cartoons in the morning. Wasn't in his room, went into their bathroom, and he was laying on the floor. And my 6-year-old self goes, oh, he passed out. So I run and tell my nanny. Obviously, he had passed and had a heart attack, and she was across the world. She flew home the next day, obviously, or that day. But the flight, you know, is 24 hours to get home from New Zealand. Came home, had his memorial, took care of me, got everything in order, put me on a plane with her, and flew back and finished the film. And that was my first example of how to handle shit when it hits the fan. And like, what a badass woman she is.
Wow. Wow.
I know we got real heavy there real fast, guys.
But these are the real stories that I think people, especially in entertainment, need to tell each other and learn from each other, because, like I said, it's so much smoke and mirrors, and then we hear of suicides happening, especially I'm from the LGBT community, and it's happening in West Hollywood all the time, because we're not sharing enough stories. We're not being there and accessible and being honest with our wounds.
Well, and we're not accepting ourselves. You know, we keep looking for everybody else to accept us. But really, we're the only ones that have to accept and love us.
I like that.
And then we attract people that match that, you know. But we're just all so taught from such an early age that we're not worthy or not smart or not good enough or whatever it is. And we spend our lives trying to prove that we are. And when stuff like this happens, if you don't have a basis within yourself of strength and knowing who you are, it levels you. It levels you. So there's a lot of really great help on my website for people around this issue.
And especially in today's day and age with social media and comparing yourself to other, you see one story where somebody's having a good time and you're like, oh man.
It's constant.
Like it's constant.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get through that and through that smoke and mirrors is exactly what you just said. You have to love yourself so then you can enjoy other people having
Yeah.
such a good time. You don't feel left out because you're literally loving yourself and feeling like
Exactly.
you can, at any time.
And social media is so ridiculous. I have a lot of musician and actor friends, and they post, their sexy selfies and likes, and interaction. And they post, it's like, hey, listen to my new single, Crickets.
Or like a meaningful post that's not, you
Right,
know.
or that's not all
I'm
hunky,
telling
happy.
you, if there's a photo of me in a bathing suit is unreal compared to the engagement that me like really opening up and being honest about something with a picture that's like of me with no makeup on.
Right.
It's the world. Just come on. It's sad.
True.
We actually have a phone call, and I didn't even give out the number, so.
Oh.
It's a phone call.
Hello? Is my social security number compromised again?
That's not a joke.
Yep.
You're on the rocks.
Hi, Alex. It's Colleen.
Oh, hey, Colleen.
Oh, Colleen!
What time is it where you are?
It's 10:02 p.m.
Oh, it's early, girl.
Colleen, how are you?
I'm great.
I miss you.
I'm a little bit tipsy, and it's your fault.
It's always
I
our
love
fault.
that. How was,
Drinking with us, are you?
Yes.
how was your doctor's appointment today?
It was great. I had my infusion, so I didn't nap.
Okay.
I should have, and I didn't.
All right. Well, there you go.
We love Colleen. Colleen is a hard, tried and true fan of Alex. Retweets, interacts, has supported the show.
Yay,
So we
Colleen.
love
Yeah,
hearing
Colleen's
from
one
you,
of the
Colleen.
best.
And I wanted to gift you from this morning, but I can't.
You what?
Wanted to gift you from this morning. Wanted to make a gift.
Oh, you wanted to do a GIF. Well, I'm sure you're going to do it. You always do a GIF.
Duh.
So
Gift
everything.
of the Magi.
So what's do you have a question? You want to chat? What's going on?
I have a question because there's a group chat that me and Angela and Sarah all have, and Ray too. And Angela came up with this question, so I figured I'd ask you about it.
Okay, hit it.
What food do you want Julius to try next? And don't say beer.
What food do you want? Food? Did you say?
Yes.
What food do I want Julius to try next?
The Impossible Burger from Burger King.
Beyond Burger. My mom's lasagna.
Oh.
Julius will scarf that back and no problem. In a heartbeat.
Good answer.
All right.
Colleen, thank you so much for calling in. I love all your tweets, and I follow you on social media. You're such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Love you. I'll talk to you. Say hi to the girls. I'll talk to you later.
Get some rest.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
You are so cute.
Cute.
You are so cute.
We're going to talk about engaging with our fans in a minute. But you have rubbed your elbows or worked with so many celebrities of so many different genres, from classic Hollywood to current Hollywood to up-and-comers. How has the idea of celebrity changed the most since you've hit the scene?
Probably the whole influencer thing. I think we get confused with the word celebrity, and we've got a really big umbrella that goes over a lot of people now. Celebrity used to be really tied in with accomplishment of some kind. And I think that's probably, I'm not making a judgment one way or another. I'm just saying I think that's the biggest shift.
I've seen like the idea for me is to celebrate celebrity is along the same lines, and you celebrate somebody that has a talent that has affected you, and then there's famous. And I think that's where the separation is.
I mean, some of the award shows I just don't really even want to watch anymore.
Yeah.
I think we've lost all our class.
So true.
Yeah.
They're not fun to watch. Even the red carpet's not fun to watch because we're being so PC. And in the ceremony itself, it's like, you watch footage from some of the old award shows. I mean,
Yeah. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know,
No.
but I like the class.
I agree.
I wish I had some. Are there any celebrity meetings that really stick out for you?
Celebrity meetings?
And like you're introduced to somebody, or even when you were young and you met like an idol. Any Any star interaction that sticks out?
You know, I would have to say the person that I've worked with that really just captured my heart was Dudley Moore.
Really?
You talk very
Intense.
fondly of him
Amazing.
in some of your interviews.
Yeah, Dudley was just the sweetest and ultra talented in so many ways, but down to earth and fun and just a kind human being. And I was just starting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was a huge star for me when I
Right.
did 10. And but you wouldn't have known it. I mean, he treated me just like one of the guys. We danced on many tabletops in Mexico. Let
Oh
me
my
tell you.
God. I love that question, even like for you too. Do you have one?
Oh wow.
You can't say me.
Yeah, when I came out of the womb, I was so starstruck.
Wow! Can we get a selfie?
Can you imagine? Oh my god. That's
There's
gonna.
a
That,
cartoon.
there's, yeah, I was gonna say there's a Family Guy episode of this
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly.
God, the one that comes to mind for me right now was being on the set of The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox and him playing Foursquare with me and hanging out with me on his breaks. And
Yeah.
I mean,
He was
I was a 6-year-old little girl, like probably being somewhat annoying, and he was taking the time to like, you know, be like an uncle figure to me, and that was really really cool. And I still, as an adult, I think I even mention it
Yes.
in the book. I still really feel fondly about that.
The Frighteners-
I had one with Hopkins.
Oh, God, that's of anybody I want to work with. That's
Show that picture. So here's one of
Anthony
Alex's
Hopkins.
very first major films, right?
Well, I don't know about that, man.
Oh, okay. Well, films that we can see.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, this is a pretty intense scene.
Yeah.
And Alex, you have a great story about what he said to you on set when you were like, "Oh, you're Alex." You know.
What are you texting him right now saying D wants to work with you?
Probably.
Yeah.
please,
I've-
please text him right now.
I've got like all these texts with him, but he gets to a point where he doesn't want to text anymore, so he just sends videos.
Oh, how funny!
It's amazing.
Like
but
talking videos.
yeah, just talking to me and
I
doing
get that.
doing Brando impressions all the
great.
time.
Oh,
but
and I hear he's a really sweet guy.
Okay, so here was my experience. I was cast in this film, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to be meeting and working with Anthony Hopkins. Keep your shit together, Bonnie. Just
Yeah,
keep your shit
really.
together. Be prepared. Get ready to do it. And I remember the feeling, and even the texture in the air was thicker because they were like, "Okay, Tony's come on his way to set," and I'm like, don't fangirl, don't fangirl. And sure enough, he comes in, and as he's walking in, I kind of turned my back a little bit because I didn't want to fangirl. And he comes in, and the AD going, "Oh, so this is Alex. He's going to be in the same with." He goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Tony." Going, "What's up?"
Oh my god!
And I turned my back, and then I just kind of went, "I'm so sorry. I'm just so close to fangirling with you right now that I kind of overcompensated."
My god, that's hysterical.
And then we just started laughing, and then we started talking about boxing. And then we were stuck. Like, I couldn't believe how we were stuck together talking about boxing. ADs are on the side, and my brain's going, do not interrupt this. I never know if I'm going to have this again. So we started
Yeah.
talking, and then we go to set, and he just wants to play. He just wants to work on the scene, improv all over the scene, and just
Really?
find the character, find the moments and play. And I just got so lost in it, and I realized I'm in acting class with Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins, and as we became to hang out a little bit, it was bugging me, and I just had to talk to him about. And my whole gesture was this too. I was like, "So when you were doing Silence of the Lambs, what were you thinking? Like, is there a different process because you did this?" And my whole gesture was this, right? And then he goes, "Like, how do you get there?" And he goes, "You're never gonna get there." And I went, "What?" And he goes, "You've put me on a pedestal that I didn't put myself on. You're never gonna reach that. because you're always going to be like this. It should be here.
Oh, I love him.
What we just did.
I want to work with you, Anthony.
Yeah. What we just.
Text him later.
Yeah. He said.
Send some nudes to Wallace. I think that'll at
Oh
least
my
spice it
God.
up.
That so would not get me the job. All right.
But he was so generous with just saying, like, I'm not doing anything different for this film than I did for any other film.
yeah.
It's just the timing, everything worked out in that manner. It was out of my control. I just go in and do my work. But when you have this mentality, you're not going to hit anything.
You bet. He's so right
It just dropped me in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, what a
Yeah.
great story. Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
for
it's
sharing
pretty
that.
great. It's pretty great.
All right. Oh, I guess we have another call. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Good evening.
Oh, who's this? You sound like Tinkerbell.
Do I? Shoot. Oh no.
Oh, not
No, that's a
anymore.
good thing.
Now you sound like Rosie Perez. You're on the rocks.
Hi. I'm Sarah.
Hi,
Sarah.
I'm a friend of Colleen's.
Oh God.
Hi, friend of Colleen's.
Hi.
I was dared by Colleen. She said, if I'm going to call, then you have to call. And I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Okay. I love it. Now do you have a question?
I do indeed. I'm kind of going to build off of Colleen's original question.
Okay.
So with Julius, you certainly have this aspect that you're playing like a man who's misplaced from his own time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many new and strange things that he hasn't seen or done. So how do you embody that like into your character? How on earth do you bring something that's so huge and massive to his story, and how do you apply that to everything he says and he does and he acts?
Well, that's a great question. I feel like because like the character became a vampire, he stopped being human in 1936. So when he became human, in 2019, everything was brand new. So I just approached it in a very puppy dog eyes, newborn eyes of everything's brand new. So the scene where I'm eating the nachos was just like, I can't believe there's a chip that tastes like this. I never had this in 1936, and just the overwhelmness of something new was just something really attractive, and that I kept kind of going through the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed that about the character. Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting idea that he's kind of mismatched in this modern world that is like being decayed and eaten by these vampiric monsters.
Yeah, and I think that's why his trajectory is just now that he's human, he just wants to be the patriarch and make it right for everyone else around him, just because he did so much damage as a vampire.
I mean, I just find it like really impressive, like watching it, that he doesn't seem like intimidated by the fact that he doesn't know anything, or he kind of takes it in stride, like you said, like with Joy.
Yeah, that's how I really wanted to him having that discovery all the time.
Especially with nachos.
Nachos. I still do it.
Oh, nacho cheese is the best.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Sarah.
Bye.
Those guys
All right.
are adorable. They literally have a Twitter account that's the Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah.
Because
Cuddle Puddle.
because
I
I
love
said to someone, somebody that was saying something, and I was like, well, we should just get it in a big cuddle. Like, this is what it feels like.
That's great.
And then they just made a Twitter
It's
account.
become a whole network where they share their own stories with each other. They support each other. They know what's going
great.
on. And of
They're
course,
wonderful.
They love you.
They're all wonderful.
Let's talk about fans. I know you have fans from so many different genres, but they remember every single detail, like we just heard. There's such depth into the characters that your fans really grab onto.
Oh, yes.
And you always have to be available, otherwise you're going to be, oh, E.T.'s mom was not friendly when I met her. But that takes a lot of energy to be that available at conventions. I would think. My fans don't like me.
It does take energy, but it's energy that I love to give and receive. I mean, I've been on the convention circuit for years now. I swear to God, they still bring me product I've never seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they fill me with the most amazing stories. One mom came up to me in tears and said, Miss Wallace, you are part of a miracle in my life. And I said, well, please tell me how. And she had a 10-year-old autistic son that she had never heard speak. And she took him to see the re-release of E.T. And on the way home, he started saying every line that E.T. She had never heard him speak in 10 years. Never heard with his voice. That's a miracle to me. And I whenever I go out to do public appearances, I remind myself how much responsibility we have in touching our fans that way. I've also heard stories about, my mom and dad conceived me in the back seat when we went to see
The drive-thru.
I went, well, they were really into that picture then, weren't they? So
It's such an interesting thing that the conventions and the cons. One of my best friends, Tom Opanikid, who was on Battlestar Galactica, and I went with him to a convention one time, and I saw this woman and her daughter in the carriage, and the closer she got, the more emotional she got.
Oh.
And when she got maybe 3 people away from him, she just couldn't.
burst into tears.
She burst into tears, but couldn't do it, and so her husband had to do it. And then Tom was one of my best friends, and when she did finally kind of came back, he went up to her off the table.
Yeah.
And then they had
Good for him.
such a beautiful story about why his character in Battlestar affected her so much. And to watch that, I could totally see it being how draining it can be, especially that specific instance that I saw. But what a rewarding.
Yeah, you get a lot of payback.
You get a lot of
I
payback.
try and get up and hug every person that comes by my
Amazing.
table.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And you are the king of Comic-Con, by the way.
Yeah, but I personally, I'm in the same boat. I love it because the idea that, because I remember being affected when I was small, when, even if it was, in my hometown, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Winnipeg Jets, and they would walk down the corridor to go to the ice, and they make eye contact with you.
Oh, yeah.
And they just do a little wink, and you're like, oh, I just got a wink.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And so
Sure
that
you
little
remember
moment,
that.
I want to be, now that I'm in a position that I can
You
fortunately
bet.
be, giving back in that way.
Yeah.
It means the world to me that, even the girls that have called in, like all that stuff means the world to me that I can give back in some way.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I love that.
I like you.
I like you too.
Everybody likes Alex.
My crush said she liked me.
All right, we have to wrap up, but I know.
No!
We could literally talk for hours.
I
about
want
it.
to talk. I'm co-host, so I can.
Yeah, but I have one last question. Then I don't know what
Okay,
you.
I just
you want to
want-
make out with me on camera? What?
I want to know more about the 7-year-old brain and evolving. I know that's a little bit probably extensive because you want to wrap it up, but I loved what you guys were talking about, how
From 4 to 7.
4 to 7, but also loving yourself, and even like when you were talking about loss, which is, I'm really looking forward to reading your book now.
Oh,
for sure.
thank you.
But the idea, I always feel like there's a mourning period, which I think
Of course.
you give tribute to.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the suffering, which I think you don't have to live in. That's a choice after that.
It's a choice, and if you want to strengthen your life, you have to know you have that choice and make it.
And I
Right.
still think there's, it's grief is like this, and you have
And it never goes away, by the way.
And when it hits you, you have to honor it and be there in it, and feel it.
Yeah.
That's how we move through it. It's just a matter of how long you're going to continue to keep yourself in it.
And that's such a fine line,
Yeah.
right?
I tell my clients, there's nothing wrong with your story unless you keep telling it. And it's when we keep telling it and say, this is who I am, this victim, and it doesn't give you the power and the energy to create your life the way you want it to.
You've just
then.
labeled yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have some family drama in my family, and it's like 2 people raised in the same household, and it's interesting to see how certain people decide to rise above everything or stay in
Yeah.
using it as an excuse and as a crutch, and that's the excuse for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's in my mom and dad came from the old Yugoslavia to Canada, and my mom has this celebratory love for life. And she literally she's in her 70s and she's in Croatia right now doing a tour because she's a travel agent for 15 people and is celebrating every moment about it. And I have other people in the family or friends of family that have this just go back to the negative and just kind of
they're waiting to die.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. And my mom I love watching my mom catch herself when she starts complaining about something. And I would just say something, and she goes, "Yep, you're right. Screw that shit. I'm out."
Yep, she does that with me, and I do that with her.
That's
we
so
keep
great.
each other pretty balanced.
Perspective.
I just want to say quickly to any listener out there that has lost somebody, I know from working with a lot of people on the other side, nobody leaves without choice. So take peace in the fact that we can't understand it, but for their spiritual growth, they're done. They've learned what they needed to learn. They had a birthday. They went to the other side. They're having a great time, and there was a choice there. So honor that and move on with your life.
That's great.
One last question, then we're going to wrap up. We know you have such a beautiful relationship. We see it on social media. We see it on the red carpet. We see it through the work that you guys create together, which is so special.
There's a but coming.
But I'm very close with my mom. You know, every relationship has its ups and downs, or its
Are you going to
its
ask
obstacles.
her for dirt?
No. Let's say, but how do you work on a relationship, and what words of wisdom can you give for people that might be struggling in a family relationship? Because not everybody has the bond that you obviously have, that I have the experience having, that you have with your parents. Some people just, it's a struggle. And so what words of wisdom do you have on building a relationship or building bridges? What are some of the fundamentals in having a great relationship?
Want me to go?
Yeah. I mean, there was a period when I hit, 13?
Well, everybody.
Oh, no. But I mean, I'm like scared to have a child because Carmen's going to come back and whoop my ass. I was like not the greatest from 14 to 18.
She had a reason with her dad's passing, and then the love of her life in high school got killed by road rage. And Gabrielle has been abandoned by loss 4 times already in her life. And that's a lot for this early age. So, but to answer your question, I would say the biggest thing we've always had going for us is I was always honest with her. And she knew that she could always be honest with me, except sometimes in high school. That I found out when she was
here we go.
under anesthetic and didn't know what she was saying.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Where was social media then?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going, and that's good to know. Yeah. How do I process that one now?
Like what?
Oh, my
No,
God.
no.
You can't even.
Too dark and too deep.
Oh, my God.
But we just, and you know, now it's our greatest strength, I think. She calls me on my shit. I call her on hers. I praise her when she's brilliant and fabulous and kind and giving, and she does the same for me. I mean, I just taught my huge training weekend of my healing work, and she was there catering the whole thing and taking care of everything for me so I could do that. And we live our life supporting each other.
Such a cute moment at your book release party was you were like cleaning up, and I was like, girl, because it was such a mom thing to do.
Yeah.
Somebody had left a napkin there, and you were like, okay, you know, and it's like, you're Dee Wallace, and you're just like making sure everything.
That's
it was such
awesome.
a
You bet.
show of support. Oh, there's our picture from the.
Oh, yay!
That was such a fun night. by the way.
Wasn't it a beautiful night?
It was such a room of positivity. You know, sometimes when you go to these things, people are so jealous. Everybody was so positive and sharing your moment, and that was really, really nice.
It was a really special night. We
You
had a great
guys,
time.
eat, pray, #FML. you can read it online, download it, but I love a book. 'cause
Yeah, the
you can make
paperback's
notes.
like where it's at, because
Yeah.
then you can like go stalk my Instagram at the same time. You don't have to like put the Kindle down and
Right.
open up the, you can
Yes.
have both.
Yeah,
Yes.
watch her videos. They're hysterical about the book. They're really funny.
All right, we're going to do rapid fire, and you can tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you.
Guys, I'm so bad at rapid fire. Do
You know, it's a
do you
silly, fun
remember the
question.
last time I was here?
I think we're still here from that, by the way.
Okay, so he goes, "What's the?" I was drunk. Let's just start with that, or tipsy at least. And he goes, "What's the one movie that would describe your and Javier's relationship?" This is one of the guys from the book, and my brain just decides to go, Deep Impact, and all the guys start dying, and I'm like, why is that so funny? It's about like this catastrophic event that like shot into the universe, and I'm like, oh my god, they think I'm talking about sex. I'm terrible at this.
I have
I'm
never had a
terrible.
reaction like that.
So here we go. Let's do it again.
All right, so you're gonna go first. Then.
All right, love it.
I'm sober this time, but I'm on day 5 of a cleanse, and I haven't had food. So
Oh, blah, blah.
Here we
Remember,
go.
that was like deep. Okay,
yeah.
We're gonna take
your
one more
biggest.
shot.
Now, after everything you've learned, especially after Eat Pray hashtag FML, your biggest dating red flag.
See, I'm so bad at this. Not being confident in who they are, like
Okay.
not knowing like where they're going and who they are.
Sometimes that's not like a big red flag. That's
I
like
know
it
you gotta
creeps
like
in.
shift through the shit, but
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
really good at that now.
Unlimited budget. What kind of film are you making?
I'm making FML into a 10 episode limited series.
Love it.
That. Oh, maybe you can play one of the parts.
Hey.
Biggest pet peeve in the world.
Ooh.
Oh, dear God.
I know,
have
I'm
to do
really
this?
bad at this. It takes me so long to think of them.
This is awesome.
I'm sorry. I just can't
Funny
do
because, like,
it.
she's like blah 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 blah.
No, I
directed this,
know,
and
but like
acted
when
in
you
this.
put me on the spot, I'm really bad at
It's
it.
tough.
Biggest pet peeve. I really don't like when people are in parking spaces and they have their brake lights on, like they're gonna reverse, but then they
just
just
sit
sit
there.
there for 20 minutes.
Right.
I
Not the
hate
biggest
that.
one, but I really don't like
that's
that.
a good
That's up
one,
there
though.
with mouth breathers. It's like, come on. You could go back and film in place of one of your mom's films. Which film and
Oh,
which
that's
role?
great.
Cujo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a reboot. Can you
No.
imagine?
No. Let's be clear. I would never do it
Right.
as a reboot or whatever. Because I'm so sick of the age of like reboots
Yeah.
that we're in right
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
But also because I would not ever want to be compared to her or that performance. I'm
Because
just
I would
saying,
kill her.
if I went back in time, that's
Yeah.
the one I would do. Or
Yeah.
the
Interesting.
Frighteners. That's a really fun
Oh,
one.
Frighteners. We had Jake Busey in, and we
Oh,
talked
I
about it
loved
over and
him.
over.
I just did a film with Jake.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And he was in Stranger Things.
Yeah,
He's such a great guy.
I walked on that set and he was like, "Oh my god, the last time I saw you, you were like,
Yeah.
what's going on?"
I love the Frighteners from the first frame till the very moment. It was such a magical film.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Okay, you could go back and tell your 7-year-old self something. What would it be?
You're never abandoned because you will never abandon yourself.
Boom. See, that didn't take
nice.
long.
No, because that's shit I like know really well, but the other ones I'm fucking lost cause.
All right, Gabrielle, tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you.
You can find me at Gabrielle Stone. The book is at Eat Pray FML, and it's available paperback Kindle on Amazon.
And follow her Instagram, by the way. Lots of great stuff there. All right, who's next? Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I'll go.
Yeah,
Okay.
please be better than me.
Dee Wallace.
Are they the same question?
No. Well, one is. Not this one, though. You could go back in time and star in any movie that you didn't do as the female or male lead.
Ooh.
Which film would it be? It could be from
See,
any
I could've
film that's
answered
been made.
that.
That was a good one. I don't know.
All About Eve.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite movies. What a good
I'm
movie.
channeling.
Yeah. They don't make movies like that. From the script to the costumes to just the acting.
gonna
Oh,
be a
God, it's one of my
bumpy
Yes. Oh, God, yes. You could go back and tell your 7-year-old self something. What would it be?
Don't listen to them.
Ooh, God. That sounds like a horror film, too, by the
Yeah,
way.
right.
You could film a reboot of one of your projects. Which one would you reboot?
Well, I just did Critters Attack.
It's coming to Sci-Fi, by the way. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
No way.
Yes.
It'll be on Sci-Fi in October.
Oh my God, I'm so
That's
excited.
so
Oh,
this
this
month.
is October.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
month,
Yeah. But like, besides Critters, if you...
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Which one would I do again?
Like as a reboot.
Yeah. Like, let's do that again today.
I see. That's the thing about me. I'm a been there, done that kind of
okay.
girl. I don't like to go back and redo anything. I think I would do more stage if I didn't get so bored.
Oh, okay.
But I think probably 10 because I had so much freaking fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. An odd or surprising talent you have that we don't know about.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Oh my Lord.
Don't say something sexual.
Let's go ahead and say it.
That's so foul.
Alex is like waiting. He's like,
Please go on.
I am pretty good. But
Enough said. No.
I'm a great dancer.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What must a scene partner never do?
Tongue me without telling me.
I get that a lot. Like, how much is that happening, by the way? I get that often from both sides, by the way.
Actually, not so much these days because they're,
People are so
their
afraid.
ass is on the line now.
I just wanted to say that I would love to.
Tongue you with permission.
I'm gonna let you know now.
Okay.
I'm letting you know now, so that it'll be okay.
Should I just leave the room? Okay.
I think we should both leave the room. Or watch, I don't
Getting
know.
hot in here. Let's take a
Oh, D. Wallace, where can our viewers and listeners find you?
Gabby,
Oh my God.
Gabrielle.
Her Instagram is at the D Wallace.
It's great stuff.
Love it.
Oh, and website, too.
Oh, I am dwallace.com. Come, there's a lot of great free stuff that'll help you get your life in shape.
There is. I was looking at everything left and right.
I'm in.
All right, Alex, are you ready? P.S. What about season 5 of Van Helsing? Do we know?
Oh, not yet. Hopefully.
know. Okay.
Hopefully.
Alex Ponovic, you are the host of a podcast. What is it called?
I'm the host. This one?
That
What do you mean?
No. Let's say you were given your own podcast. What would the name be?
If I was a
Jump
host,
Yes.
in any time.
Yeah.
right? I missed that. If I was a host of a podcast, this
Oh my
drink
God.
is getting to me.
I love smart actors.
It would be like a boxing podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Punchline.
I love that.
That was good. Or thinking out of the box.
But see, what I would love to do with that, because I got lucky because boxing helped me in acting, and it helped me do my very first stage performance that I did, and I remembered the butterflies, and I was like, wait a second, this is exactly what it feels like before getting into a fight. And no one's going to punch me in the head out there, I hope. So it dropped me back in, and all the stuff that I used in boxing helped me. And so I definitely would love to use acting, boxing, and even life, and how you want to.
so punchline is really perfect.
Punchline's
Punch
perfect.
Really
and
good.
line, like our line.
Done.
Good.
She better get some royalties.
Done.
Yeah.
So, Alex, we were talking about, like, relationships. You are very quiet, by the way, about who you are dating, so I'm not going to ask you anything about that. But your worst date that you've ever had.
Apparently now dating D
Yeah.
Wallace.
I can totally see it, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Julius needs a girlfriend.
Done. Oh, I would love you on the show. You would be
Yes.
so great on our show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to make some calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Is there, like, a premiere party for Critters, by the way? I have to be there.
No, not that I know
We're
of.
going to do it. We're going to do it.
We'll do it here.
If there is, I'll
We'll do it
call
right
you.
here. Okay, but worst date ever. It could be when you were young, just ever.
Oh, dear.
Worst date ever. Oh, I can't tell this story.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes. We've all shared a lot tonight.
Yes, we have.
I can't tell
Too
this
much.
story. This one's way too. I can't tell this story.
Why are you looking
you
at me
can.
when you're saying that?
She wrote a
Because I
book.
feel like you have stories too.
She wrote a whole
in
book,
there.
and you can't tell us a little byline?
Oh,
Come
this
on.
one, I don't. The drink got to me, and that one popped in my head, but I cannot say that one.
Okay, pick another.
It was basically when you. I dropped this. I was ready to drop this girl off at her door, and when I reached over to like help her open the door, she threw up on me.
Oh, nice.
Do you know my worst date story has vomit in it too?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Guys,
Well, you guys really attract them, don't
Yeah.
lightweights.
Yeah.
You're not kidding. $400 at Sir. Okay. One type of role that would scare you to do.
Type of role that would scare me to do. Yeah, you're right. This is tough stuff. hey?
Right? Like my brain doesn't work that fast, apparently.
Type of role that would scare me to do. The mom in E.T.
you? You'd never fit into that dress.
And you want to see me try?
He'd like to get into your dress, but that's all. Oh my God, you're not.
That was a wicked setup.
We took a turn. Well, we took a turn.
Yeah.
Iconic legend, Dee Wallace. Okay, but like playing like a mom figure.
No, I don't know. No, this is tough. It's tough. There's so many great
And you
ones
played
out
a
there.
lot of different
but,
types of roles.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would love to do Rocky, but that wasn't the question.
So you would, but it would scare you though.
Yeah, I think I would be really excited about that. And vulnerability doesn't really scare me. I think stillness scares me more.
Oh, okay.
So something that like something that was really still.
Like maybe like a 2-person film that took place in one room.
I think the character has to be very still. Like I literally.
Like,
Oh.
what was the brilliant Eddie Redmayne and when he was Stephen Hawking and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
in the
yeah.
chair?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
that would scare me. That would scare me. Absolutely.
You get to share drinks with an actor or an actress who has passed. Who is it?
Does it have to be an actor or actress?
Yes, that's the question. It's literally tied down. That's the question.
Okay. Brando would be great,
Oh, he would love to drink with you.
but I also want to drink with I want to have a drink with Muhammad Ali.
And you got to meet him.
I got to meet
By the
him,
way.
and it was the most glorious thing in the world, and I sobbed like a little girl. I sobbed because it was in 2007. I'm going to tell the story really quick.
Yeah.
2007. I got a chance to meet him, and it was one of those things where I was teaching Rory Richards, who's one of my an amazing friend, and I was teaching her boxing in 2007, and I would always give her Muhammad Ali kind of quotes, and then she goes, "So listen, I'm doing an event, and it's Muhammad Ali's charity dinner for his film called Facing Ali that a Vancouver director directed. So the premiere is going to be in Vancouver, and I would love you, like I know how much you care about him, and I'd love you to be there." I was like, "Yeah, like it's $5,000 a plate for the dinner
Woof.
for charity," and I said yes, but then I thought about how ever since I was a kid, I never wanted to meet him unless it was special. I didn't want to see him walking through the airport. I'd rather not even see that.
Yeah.
And so I went back and I said, I can't just sneak in and like serve table 5 just so I can see Muhammad Ali. And so I went, and she wanted me to bring a heavy bag for the decoration end of it. So I went back and I said, thanks, but no thanks, because it's not how I want it. She goes, well, the job is to like take care of him for the night.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yes. So walked him in, and he's on my arm, and everyone that paid the money took a picture with him, and then we walked into the theater that was adjacent to it. Me, Marjorie, and his wife Lonnie, and my friend Ben. We sat down, and then they went, "Muhammad, we're gonna get some popcorn, and you want some popcorn?" "Yeah, okay." And they got up, and I watched them leave, and now I'm alone in the theater with Muhammad Ali. And I just started I go, when am I going to have this opportunity? So I started telling him what he meant to me. I'm sobbing, the whole thing. And then he pulls up his fist and touches my chin. And I kind of pretend I got knocked out. And I just went, this is the greatest.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's a
greatest.
beautiful story.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, Alex, you're given $1 million to start something not entertainment related. What are you starting?
A charity campaign for anti-bullying.
Oh, I love it.
Yay.
We're all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Paunovic, where can people find you?
At ALEKSPAUN, Alex Pawn, on Twitter and on Instagram. But I also wanted to throw down, I'm working with a team from Los Angeles, and Winnipeg is my hometown in Canada, and we're working towards opening up a multi-million-dollar film studio. They don't have any infrastructure there, and they have the biggest tax credit in North America,
Wow.
which is 65%.
Holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Let's all go film.
yeah, but no infrastructure and very small crew because of just where they are. But the tax credit is so incredible, and there's so many talented people in Manitoba and Winnipeg, and so we want to be able to bring more jobs into that province and into the city, because the talent there is just insurmountable. So the infrastructure will make that happen, and hopefully we can pull it off.
Well, we have
Great.
2 feature films we're working on that.
Well, come on
not-
down,
yeah.
Wonderlight Studios.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll do craft services.
I love
It'll be
it.
nachos every day. That's all I can say. Oh, and I have to ask, what's going on with Snowpiercer?
What do you mean?
It's coming.
Yeah, it's first season starts March 2020,
I'm so excited.
and I just signed for season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited
A
about
lot
it.
of celebrating in this room, everybody. What a great show. We literally could talk for hours and hours and hours. Coming up on the Rocks, we have Michael Paul from America's Got Talent, country singer from Rolling Stone's Top 10 Country Videos, Brandon Stansel, hot veterinarian turned Animal Planet and Instagram star, Dr. Avon Anton, and 8-time Academy Award nominee makeup special effects artist, V. Neal. Have you worked with
No.
V? She worked on Star Trek Motion Picture, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Mrs. Doubtfire, Hunger Games, Pirates of the Caribbean, and more.
Oh, she's good.
Yeah, and she's just going to sit. We're going to talk stories. So On the Rocks is the place to be every week. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kurt, thank you so much. And our listeners and our viewers, thank you so much. We love doing the show, and we love having you as our guest.
Woohoo!
All right? See you next week.
Hey.
This has been On the Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on The Rocks Radio Show. Tweet me or Instagram me at On the Rocks On Air. See you next Tuesday.